Gentlemen, it's Tuesday nights. It's time for your favorite show for Bama content, period. Before we get rolling, you know the drill. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're in the live chat. Do your thing. Show up, show out. If you didn't catch the live show, get in the comment section. Show us some love there. This is the Bama Standard. We are brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, check them out at WorkspacePros.com. With me, as always, is an all-star cast. You know them very well, but I'm going to introduce them anyway. We always start out with the star of the show, a comedy legend, the king of comedy, the illustrious Steve Brown.
How are you, sir? I'm glad you guys decided to stop doing the Bama Standard without me, and we did the paperwork, and I'm back, as handsome as ever. Let's do this.
We are so glad that your agent worked through all that red tape. Aside from him, we got a 1999 all-SEC linebacker. And when Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man, he is that man, Marvin Constant.
Hey.
He got deported back to the U.S. from Africa. Glad to have him back.
Whatever.
And
damn, Africa didn't want you back? Damn.
No. We got the senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine and international sex symbol, Stephen M. Smith.
What's happening, everybody?
And last but not least, the baddest man to ever tote the rock, two-time national champion, two-time USFL champion, the Bo Scarborough.
Fellows, he got that much.
Listen, we couldn't have this week start out without one of the living legends who made Tennessee famous. And before we talk to you about who he is, Stephen M. Smith is going to have to take the mic to bring this dude on stage. Stephen M. Smith, tell us who we got visiting tonight.
We got a quarterback in the building. One of the early 2000s quarterbacks is in the building. We're talking about a guy that wore that number 14 with the utmost pride, swag, and flair, and the hair as well. We're talking about a quarterback that led Alabama to big wins during his time there. But not only is he quarterbacking on the field, he's quarterbacking in the broadcast booth now too. For all home games, he's right there with Eli Gold, giving you the color commentary next to Eli's play-by-play. Y'all know who he is. We got TW Tackle Watts. Oh my God, he's here. Oh,
yes,
man.
sir.
Oh,
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
well.
It's Tennessee week, sir.
Life
You know
goes
what,
that
Tyler?
fast. One day you're toting rock playing in front of 100,000 people, and next thing you know, you're Mr. Mom picking up kids from swim.
Oh, wow. Tyler, let me tell you this, man. First off, man, I enjoyed your career at Bama. And I told these guys, my agent told these guys, listen, Steve is not coming back unless y'all have a guest who's well-respected. And they got both of us back. So I'm happy that you're here because I wasn't coming back. So, yeah.
And I wasn't coming back without you either. I mean, it was a
There
package.
it is. Thank you. I'm the star of the show, of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's about relationships here at the Bama Standard.
There it is.
Now, if I need to, I can mute Marvin Constant before I ask this question. Can you tell us a time where you ran over him in practice?
Whoa.
Let me tell you something. Nobody ran over Marvin Constant in practice, but let me tell you, the hardest I ever got hit past high school was handing the ball off to Marvin Constant when he was a fullback. He flat ran over my rear end, and it hurt worse than any hit I ever took in a game.
Yeah.
Marvin,
Remember that? That was in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game.
Yep, down in Mobile.
That's awful. That's awful, Marvin. That's awful.
Nobody asked you for your opinion, sir. I know you miss me, Steve.
And here's the thing. He was on the wrong track. There's no doubt about it. But I wasn't near man enough to call him out on it.
I would.
Damn.
Life happens.
So Marvin was a liability, in other words, taking out the quarterback of his own team.
Of course.
No, if he was on your side, he was not a liability. He was an asset.
Well, you got to understand something. You know, playing for Coach Busby in high school, he always said when we ran dives off the center, run it as tight as possible. So that's how we ran them at Central. So I ran it the same way I'm used to running the dive.
He didn't tell you to run over your quarterback, Marvin.
No, you're like, picked up 4 yards.
But Marvin's coach also taught him to stand what he believed in. Marvin got Pete out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't get anybody out of anywhere, sir.
Yeah, you did, Marvin. You got fired.
We got the Central Mafia working behind the scenes. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Before we get to Tennessee, we have a segment that's been absent for quite some time, and it featured the star of the show, and it is none other than No Laughing Matter.
Okay, guys, Steve Brown here. Listen, this to me is no laughing matter. I hate to call out players, but I have to call out this one particular player because I am a fan of his. I love the way he's playing, but he needs to shut the hell up, and that is Jermaine Burton. Jermaine, I believe if you continue on doing what you're doing with your little antics and running your mouth, you're going to eventually cost us big in a very important game. I understand playing with emotion and attitude, but sometimes you got to challenge that stuff to what's on the field in front of you instead of doing all this other stuff. If you guys noticed the last game we played, which was Arkansas, at the end of the game, they had to contain him, or when we were doing the victory formation. Why are you still yapping and doing stuff during the victory formation? And it eventually it causes a flag, but you were still on it. After the game, you're still talking. So Jermaine Burton, just do what you came to do. Play football. If you be quiet and you concentrate on just football, trust me, you will go a whole lot farther with the program. We're trusting in you. You're a senior, okay? You gotta hold yourself accountable and teach these young guys to just shut up and play football. Have fun, but don't hurt us, sir. Play football, guy. We love you. So that's my segment of No Laughing Matter.
All right. Anyone want to weigh in on this before we jump into the third Saturday in October?
Well, I mean, me personally, I'll talk.
You were a showboat, so you would approve.
No, I talk about trash in school, and I don't see a problem with talking trash as long as your play is backing it up consistently. If you know you're that guy, it's okay to do it sometimes, but you have to be mindful that it can go too far at times, and you can get yourself a costly penalty that can be a drive killer or put your team in a bad position. So just be mindful of that in the situations you do it in. That's all I say.
But you know what, Marvin? I understand what you're saying, but Jermaine Burton, he's starting to come along. But like the game before last, he went off. This game, he only had like 2 catches and a couple of drops. He had some drops. So you just concentrate on playing football. And what I would like to see is some old school Bama football players holding each other accountable. I think one of those big linemen need to grab him and slam him or do something, or maybe Saban needs to get on him publicly and really tell him to shut his mouth, because honestly, I really believe if he continues on, he is going to hurt the team sooner or later.
Well,
so
you heard
what
I said, though, Steve. If your play backs it up.
Right. So right now, and as football players or anything, you're only as good as your last performance. Your last performance was mediocre to not so good. So again, when you're shutting up and concentrating on what you need to do, you're very productive. Just shut up and play football. I know it sounds rude, but that's what I need Jermaine Burton to do.
Jim McEwen says, can't talk smack and disappear a week later. So
exactly.
That sums up what you said perfectly. All right, let's get to it. Third Saturday in October, Revenge Week. And before we get to this game, Tyler, I'm going to give you the stage because you face a different kind of revenge week. Back in 2002, I think we were on a 5-6 game skid in terms of losing 10 to Tennessee. But we went to Knoxville 2002, and it was a different situation, different outcome altogether. Matter of fact, because of your effort, you got a Daniel Moore painting. If you would, man, can you talk about that beat down in Knoxville and just how it all came about, what that week of practice was like, and just relive that glory day?
Marvin, remember this, and y'all probably do too, but back then they used to play Rocky Top all week long, trying to get us ready for that ball game. scout team would put these on their helmets, and it was a big deal. It was a big hoopla, and there was a lot of anxiety as a result of that built up. But I remember Jarrett Johnson, who was a defensive lineman, outstanding player. He finally was fed up with it. He stood up at the end of one practice and he goes, "Forget all this other bull crap that we got going on. Stop worrying about who the opponent is. Just do your freaking job. My job's to cover the A gap. I'm going to cover the A gap. Your job is to cover this dude in coverage. Cover him in coverage. If your job is to hand the ball off or give it to the wide receiver, do that. And don't worry and don't try to be a hero." And that kind of resonated, I think, with a lot of people because we built this game up so much that we were kind of exhausted by the time it came around. And, emotionally, we were exhausted. And it really, I think, made a huge impact on our performance that night. It was still a rocky start for the offense, but the defense played well. Smoke Dixon picked up a scoop and score to kind of get things started off. And then through attrition, we just wore down on Tennessee throughout the course of the game. And in the fourth quarter, man, we made that place empty out.
Man, that was one of the best scenes in Knoxville I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Truly tremendous. And man, it's amazing how much that one play from Smoke just completely changed the momentum. And we're entering into a game where the slightest thing that happens can completely change the trajectory of a game. So I want to focus on our current quarterback. You're in the booth right now. You're able to see a lot of things that we normally don't see. Down in Tuscaloosa, that quarterback position is a pressure cooker, no doubt about it. Jalen Milroe, he's been through the heat of it all. But now you look across the field to Tennessee, and there's an added layer of intensity. After all, who you are, Alabama, is ultimately graded by 2 games, Auburn and Tennessee. So, Tyler, lay it out for us. Just how monumental is this showdown, not only for Alabama's season, but how Jalen Milroe is remembered?
Well, I'm sure that he'll get other opportunities for us to draw on the success that he does or does not have. I mean, it's only halfway through the season. There's going to be we got LSU in 2 weeks, and we still have to go down to Auburn. So there's going to be other opportunities. But this is the most important one. I mean, against Texas, he made a couple of mistakes, ended up being costly. He made some good plays, but he did make 2 mistakes that ended up really frustrating you. And that's what people remember more so than the 7-minute drive that Texas had at the end of the game to ice that sucker against our defense, something we hadn't seen in a long time. So, yeah, the quarterback play does matter. It's what people remember. Look, he's got to play a good game. He doesn't have to play perfect, but he has to play within himself, and he has to play within the offense, and he has to make sure that when guys are getting open and he has an opportunity to make a 15, 20-yard doing that. And it comes down to focus, concentration, fundamentals. If his footwork is what it needs to be, he's an accurate thrower. When it gets a little off, then the ball kind of sells on him.
Gotcha. Guys, if you would piggyback off of that, just how monumental is this game right now? And how do you feel like Jalen Milroe is going to handle the pressure? He's faced a lot this entire year, but there's something special, like I said, when you're facing Tennessee. We'll start with Stephen Smith, and we'll go to Bo and Steve, and then Marvin round it out.
I'll say this. This game is huge. A lot of people are not making it out to be what it should be, but this was an Alabama team that went up to Tennessee and got beaten last year for the first time in the Nick Saban era. This is an Alabama team that had 17 penalties last year in this game, the most in the Saban era. This was an Alabama team that had Bryce Young last year and could not get it done with Bryce Young, and a defense that gave up 5 touchdown passes to 1 receiver. So you look at this game in Tuscaloosa, this is a big deal. Like, after you lose to Tennessee, Josh Heupel got a contract extension. This man's making annually $9 million a year. And you got to figure a lot of that stemmed from, hey, you were the first coach in a while to take down Alabama and Nick Saban. Here's the money. We're going to get to you. So this is a big game here for Alabama in Tuscaloosa. This is a big opportunity for Jalen Milroe to stack another good block forward to how he's been playing. But most importantly, this is a game for Alabama to go out here defensively and show, hey, this ain't the same team that gave up 49 points a year ago. They gave up 52 points a year ago, my bad.
Bo, weigh in on the subject, man. Let me hear from you.
I would say that this is the statement game because of what Steven just said last year down in Tennessee. Too many penalties, end up costing us the game. We dropping 8 players and still getting beat behind. I just think that this defense just need to step up more, and Jalen Milroe got to get the ball out of hand quicker than he is. He's holding it too long, and I think that he need to get the ball out quicker. But this is a very important game, especially because of Tennessee and that we lost against them last year. So this is will be a statement game to be identify who we really are as a team.
Steve, a lot of pressure is being put on this team, Jalen Milroe, but more importantly, I think the pressure is being placed on the offense. Defense has been carrying us all season. You know, win on D, count on me. But at some point, you need offense to step up. You need to take center stage. So if you would weigh in on that and kind of tie it into our original question.
Okay, so with the offense, I firmly and truly believe that the offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, has to put the offense in good positions to move the ball. Okay, you got to stop being so vanilla, and you have to play to the offense's strengths. I mean, you're not doing any RPOs, you're not doing any quick screens, bubble screens. You're not doing any of that. It's just everybody expects what we give them, and it's no surprises. And then I'm blessed, as a matter of fact, to have Tyler on this show, a real quarterback, so he can explain this to me. I don't understand this thing as far as holding the ball too long. What if he's dropping back and the receivers just aren't getting open? So is that his fault? And I'm just addressing this to Tyler so I can be further educated on it, because everybody's like he's holding the ball too long. Now I understand him taking sacks or just taking off or throwing the ball out of bounds if it doesn't negate a penalty. But what if the receivers not getting open? What does he do? Tyler, if you mind me asking.
Well, I do think that there's several layers to that kind of answer the question. This is just my personal opinion. When we're watching on TV or I'm watching in the booth, you know, I'm so high up, man, I can see the whole field and everything just unfolds so beautiful, so simple. But it's going pretty fast down there. We would all agree upon that, right? These decisions are having to be made pretty quick. And if you're wrong and you miss that window of opportunity, it closes pretty doggone quick too. I don't think we have any true difference makers at the wide receiver position. I think we have a lot of really good receivers, but no one who really just strikes fear in you, an Amari Cooper type guy. And that's the level that I'm comparing these two. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes that are, 10 plus years in the NFL, which is a high bar. It's not fair to compare them to that. So sometimes the separation is not there initially, but then it does open up, and we are still a little bit late holding on to the football. And I don't know if it's a processing, we're not understanding the defenses or exactly what's going on there, but we do seem to hold the ball for a split second and make a challenging throw. So it's a combination of all things. And then plus you have the pressure that former quarterbacks, quite honestly, have not had to experience. The pocket collapsing as quickly as what it is right now on just a 4-man rush. And sometimes when he does feel that pressure, his eyes come down as he starts looking for escape routes, and that is sometimes when receivers are coming open. Look, that's a difficult thing for a quarterback to be able to do, to keep his eyes downfield. But y'all got to remember, we've been pretty doggone spoiled the last 8-10 years by a quarterback play who can really make things happen on the fly.
Well, you know what, Tyler, the thing is, what I'm seeing, because I'm hearing everybody, he's so terrible, he's this and this, that. But, I mean, again, there are those layers where we don't have the receivers we had, and then the left side of our offensive line is still growing. It's still, everybody's going on this Proctor kid, but he's a high schooler who's trying to block guys from the SEC that's been there. So he's going to go through his growing pains. So the thing is, I think it's just timing and growth. You just got to give it time. That's just my personal opinion. So again, I think we'll be okay, but we just got to get through these growing pains.
Absolutely. And Tyler, one of the reasons that makes him so special, or why he gained the spot as QB1, is how great he can be with his legs. And it seems here lately, I don't know what the reason may be, he's starting to hesitate when it comes to run. He's got some lanes open, but he kind of pushes pause for some reason, whereas in the past, he would have taken that running lane. He's off to the races. What would you say would be causing him to think twice and not completely sell out to the run when it's there?
Well, I'm not going to fault him for trying to be committed to pressing the ball down the field through the air and hanging in there. But there is an experience, maturity type of deal to where if you've had enough reps, you understand when something is about to open up and when it's not. And you also have to understand your circumstances. Down and distance situation, what kind of pressure am I feeling? If you feel any pressure, I would agree down because he is such a threat. But he's not really utilizing that to what we feel that he could to really put pressure on opposing defenses. But it's something that I think that every game is going to look a little bit different. Sometimes he is going to hang in that pocket and really push the ball down the field like what he did versus Texas A&M. And who knows, this week with the defensive front that Tennessee has and amount of pressure they're having, he may pull it down and run for 120 yards. I don't have a clue. We know that it's within him, and we know that that's a threat, and it's a tremendous pressure on an opposing defense to have to account for a running quarterback. But it doesn't need to be his entire game because he does have to throw the ball, and those two have to complement each other.
Right.
So speaking of that, Tyler, and you brought something good there. The ability to throw the football as a quarterback and to run the ball have to complement each other. For you, how tough is it really for a dual threat quarterback or a player perceived as a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school? You come to the SEC and you know that you can run, you know that you're gifted in that area, but how tough is it when you want to prove so badly I can be an accurate passer? Yeah. I can throw the football, I can distribute, I can prove a lot of these naysayers wrong, but in the back of your mind, you know, I got these legs, I can take off and go and make something happen, but I want to show my arm too. Like, how difficult is that?
I imagine it is a challenge. It's something you're constantly probably having to fight. You just don't want to be coined as a running quarterback. No, you're a quarterback. And look, I truly believe that Jalen Milroe is a good quarterback. He might not be as refined and as polished as some of the ones that we've had in the past, but he has all the tools and abilities of any of them when he plays proper technique and when he does what he's supposed to. And I do think that that's a problem. It also comes down to truly understanding defenses, understanding what you're seeing and processing it, and being able to comprehend that and know where to go with the football. And I think that is still something that is a process that he's having to learn. I do think that he's raw. And once again, what are we measuring him against? Because I'll take him over Auburn's quarterback and Arkansas's quarterback and some of those guys all day long.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, so he's still good. He's still very capable. It just looks different than it has in years past. But I do think you're spot on with he doesn't want to have that label of I'm just a running quarterback because he's not. He's not. And I don't think that the coaches want him to be just a running quarterback because they know what he's capable of. He throws a pretty deep ball. He throws as pretty a deep ball as anybody we've had.
No doubt. Well, Marvin, we kind of veered off the path a little bit from the original question, but you've had an opportunity to kind of soak all this in. If you would, bring it home, tell us your thoughts on all this and just how big is this game for him, but for the team?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to watch any football the past 2 weeks, so I'm still playing catch up. But I can say this to Tyler's point of the fact that he throws a great deep ball. Knowing that, I do know his favorite throw appears to be the post. He loves to throw the ball down the middle of the field. So me being a defensive mind, if I'm defensive coordinator, I'm going to run a lot of cover one with the two-man spy, forcing everything to the boundary, single high safety to take away what I know he loves to do. Because, again, I keep telling y'all this, throws between 15 to 20 yards into the boundary, he struggles with those. They're usually too hot. So, again, I'm going to put him in uncomfortable situations. So now, what does that mean for him? He needs to learn how to diversify his game and check down to that running back who's often open instead of trying to force that 15 to 20 yard out, or into the boundary because he struggles with connecting on that ball. And again, I know he likes the deep ball. That's why I got a single high safety. And I got a two-man spot underneath with my two backers to pass off that back wherever he goes. The other one's responsible for the quarterback, and we kill all that. So, when he faces a great defensive coordinator, he's really going to have to learn how to throw the ball to the check down.
Yeah, no doubt. Tyler, again, I'm going to go back to you and let everyone kind of fall back after this. Week in and week out, we're all wondering, is this the game where Alabama finally clicks? You've been keeping a close eye on that broadcast booth. Can you give us your take on just how close the Crimson Tide is to putting all the pieces together?
All the pieces are ready to be put together. The only issue and problem that any of them are facing right now is consistency. They're just inconsistent with their performance and with their play and with their middle focus. And that's really is the only thing that's holding them back. They got the players, y'all. They got the talent. The schemes are good. It's just the mental focus every single play of doing their responsibility is not lacking from all 11 per se, but maybe just one here and one there. But any breakdown in one individual and it affects the whole team and the whole performance.
Makes sense to me.
I'll let you take that, and then we'll hop over to Steve, and up to Bo, and then Stephen and Smith.
Me?
Yeah. You like to talk? Man. I figured I'd give you the opportunity. I mean, I don't want to regret it, but go ahead.
Here's the bottom line, man. This week you are playing the University of Tennessee. They've been Alabama's cross-divisional rivalry forever. How do you not get up for this game? Because you know, you lose this game, there's no cigar. You got to hear about it for a whole year. And again, you're playing the University of Tennessee. You know, outside of Auburn and LSU, Tennessee is right there at the top of Alabama's rivalry. So again, if you can't get up for this game, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is where it all starts and stops, man. You lose this one, it's over. What more motivation do you need?
Okay. Well said. Steve Brown?
I think it's just another game. I understand the hoopla and the rah-rah and all that, but I think that I'm just ready for the kids to get back to the Bama Standard. Going in, beating up on people, and going home and calling it a day. That's just what it is. So, you know, I think the Bama teams that I've watched, they didn't need all that hoopla and hey, this is Auburn week, this and this and that. No, I think that's for the fans. I think the Bama team from back in the day, they couldn't wait to go beat up on people. And that's just what it is. So I hope that these kids adapt that mentality some type of way and not play with the attitude of, man, win or go home. No, let's just go in and kick some ass and go home and enjoy, the rest of the week. That's how I look at it. I hope we get back to that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. Who wouldn't want to smoke a cigar? Like, some of them guys on the team never experienced the cigar. So, that should be your motivation right there. And plus, when you get out of college, people going to ask you what's your record against Tennessee. They ain't going to ask you what's your record against Auburn. They're going to ask you what's your record against Tennessee. So that's another thing that should also get you ready to play, because I'm undefeated against Tennessee. I never lost against Tennessee. So that should motivate you right there, because people don't ask about Auburn, they ask about Tennessee.
But you know what it is, Bo? A lot of legends are made in this game. You think back to Roman Harper causing the fumble when we beat Tennessee. I don't even remember what year that was.
Mount Cody.
You think about Cody. You think about Cody's block, in that game. When I tell you legends are, if you can't get up to play Tennessee, you're in the wrong damn business.
Exactly.
Listen, man, 99, I went out there 17 tackles in a sack. It's personal, man. If it ain't personal to you, take your ass home. Yeah. You don't need additional motivation. Show up, do your job, be accountable. And as Coach Saban always says, be where your feet are.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, but why? I'm sorry, but why does it have to be against Tennessee? Why can't it be against everybody? That's my point.
Everybody, but certain teams hold a different reverence in terms of what it brings. Certain games, it's different, because you got to think about this. We're playing Southern Miss or any other school, they're going to give us a hard game. But when you play the Tennessee, the LSUs, and the Auburns, you're going to get the best of them every time you walk across that line. They might be 1-10. But you best believe they're going to bring everything they got to play against your ass, because you got on an Alabama jersey. It is personal to them, so it better be personal to you. Otherwise, you can get your ass handed to you, and everybody will be looking at you crazy when the game over.
Right.
But Marvin. Okay, I'm sorry.
What's that, bro?
I'm sorry, bro.
In that game, Tennessee?
17 in the sack.
Right, and I had 5 for 105.
That's what it better be personal to you, because if it ain't gonna go well. That's all I'm saying. Because again, whether Tennessee is 5-1, 6-0, 7-3, 1-6, When they ask to get off that bus, they coming to give you everything they got.
But do y'all not realize every team that plays Bama, that is their version of the national championship? That's how big of a brand Bama is. So if Bama is playing a high school, they're still going to get the best of the best because everybody wants to beat Bama.
But see, you got to understand something. There's 3 schools in particular, Alabama, LSU, and Tennessee, where it's just different. And a lot of that has to do with a lot of these kids want to go to Alabama, but Alabama doesn't offer them. So they end up at the LSUs, the Auburns, and the Tennessee. So when they play Bama, it's even more personal. So you got to understand, a lot of people carry personal vendettas into this game, man.
I get it.
Stephen M. Smith, but I don't want to leave you behind here. Close out the topic, sir.
I'll say this: the only motivation these guys should have. I'm trying to play for an SEC championship. I'm trying to play for a national championship, and so right now the opponent standing in the way of that is Tennessee. I got to take them out because they are in the middle of me trying to play for an SEC and me trying to play for a national. That should be the only motivation right now. We trying to go after national championship number 8 to make we're trying to give Saban national championship number 7. To put him concretely above Paul Bear Bryant because he's tied with Bear Bryant with 6 right now. And we as a program are trying to get the national championship as well. So that should be the only motivation. We're trying to get this chip. And right now the opponent on the schedule is Tennessee. We got to take them out to get to this chip. That's the only motivation.
Okay.
Would you think about it, Justin?
Well, you're right. It should take no motivation to do anything, let alone play Tennessee. This is the game. Matter of fact, we got embarrassed in their house last year, and we have not heard the end of it since then. As soon as the clock hit 0-0-0 against Texas A&M, they're already in our chat. They're already in our comment section, any social media we had, talking up. I think it's time to quit making excuses for a lot of things that we're seeing on the field. Lack of execution, lack of discipline, things of that nature. Oh, they're young. Well, at this point in the year, we're 8 games. We're entering the 8th game. It's time for maturity to resonate. We need to see some growth from these guys, and it starts up front with the offensive line. We've been playing musical chairs for too long, and I think that has a lot to do in terms of hurting the continuity of that offensive line. I think Eric Wolford needs to pick an offensive line and put them out there and let it go from there. Tyler may have a different perspective because of how important that front is to him, but we're facing a defensive front in Tennessee who's ranked in the top 10 in terms of pressures and quarterback sacks. They also only give up, I think, around just over 4 yards of carry in the run game. So we're entering into a hellacious front. They're not quite the wall of hell no like we're accustomed to, but they're formidable. Tyler, kind of tell us what you've seen in this offensive line that maybe the rest of us aren't seeing, because a lot of us are in panic mode, but you understand the game a whole lot better than we do. That's one of the reasons why we get former players on here to give their perspective that the fan doesn't quite see. And, Marvin, too. He's kind of the –
No, Justin, just say he understands the game better than you do. Don't put me in there.
Marvin, I can control your paycheck from the revenue earned on these episodes.
Oh, no!
And I believe that Steve Brown just got a pay increase and you got a decrease. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I think that every football team and every unit, quite honestly, has deficiencies. And coaches – the good coaches understand what those deficiencies are, but they also understand what the strengths are. You play to the strengths. You don't focus on the negatives, but you play to the strengths and you focus on that and you try to exploit it to put yourself in the best position to be successful. Look, the offensive line struggles at times holding up for 4 and 5 seconds. That's fine. That's fair. Understand that. Get rid of the ball quicker. Y'all talked about it. Short game, quick passing game. Football, it will allow you ability to do the play action and hit some of the deeper throws downfield that take a little bit longer to develop, but you have to have a running game in order to do that. But sometimes the strength of a defense can be a disadvantage as well. These guys are going to get upfield. They're really going to put pressure on you. But if you get them running sideline to sideline, get rid of the football quickly, it's going to frustrate them as well.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And
Thank you.
to be able to gash them and stuff. And then when all else fails, run the option.
Thank you. Stop. Tyler. Excuse me, Tyler. Listen, what are you doing Saturday?
Calling the game.
No. We don't want. We want. Can you like be the OC, please, if you don't mind? Can you just do that for a couple of games?
There's so much. I go down and watch them practice. Try to at least one.
I understand that, Tyler, but I know you being modest. But I need you to be in that booth or on the sideline, because I and everybody else has been saying what happened to the quick passes, the screens, the bubble screens to neutralize a defense. Everybody's been saying it, but we haven't been seeing it. I don't understand that. And you just sit here and not you and never mind. But thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And that's a concern I have too. The deep throw has been there, and my gosh, is a thing of beauty when it connects. But what happens when Tennessee's secondary neutralizes that, and we're having to dial up something in the short intermediate routes, or heaven forbid, like you said, Steve, Tommy Rees calls a screen pass. When are we going to see the adjustments from Tommy Rees that are calling for these things to happen? You know, and another thing in addition to that, when things start to get hot, why does he deviate from what's hot? Against Arkansas, I believe it was the second drive of the second half, we gashed them in the run game. And they couldn't stop us. Jam and Roydell were just owning them. We were leaning against them, tiring them out. But then it's like it was abandoned. Tyler, can you kind of help us to understand exactly why at times when things seem to be clicking, that the coordinator decides to deviate from that?
And obviously, look, I've sat enough film study and played enough ball games and lost enough ball games and got back in there and reviewed it, realized very seldom is it the play calling. 90% of the time it's the execution.
There we go.
Not always what it needs to be. And that's something that we as fans don't always understand is what's being asked of the players and how are they performing.
Now, Tyler,
I agree. I like running the football. I like being underneath center a lot more than what they do now. But the game has changed and evolved in a way that I don't truly understand it completely. Watch for y'all. My goodness, this is awful. Y'all are gonna get fired. I was the offensive coordinator of a 6th grade football team, and y'all, it was challenging then. Running 5 different plays out of 8 formations. Look, it's not easy, and the defenses know. They pretty much, Marvin can attest this. Y'all can attest this. Defenses know what's coming. They know what's about to happen, and they got some good players too. So 90% of the time, it just comes down to execution.
and what people don't understand is going into game planning, the number one thing that we would always talk to Ellis Johnson, defensive coordinator, about is what can we do to make them uncomfortable? How do you make them uncomfortable? You take away what they do best, and you force them to have to run plays and do things that they're not great at, so that you give yourself a fighting chance. Again, so that's why you have to have multiple tools in your toolbox. You can't just rely on the deep ball all day, because again, a great defensive coordinator, he's going to take that away, and then what's left?
It seems like watching the Bama game has become Jalen Milroe drops back, everybody goes long. No check down, no nothing. Everybody just goes long, and he just slings it. That's what it's looked like to us watching the game. There's nothing set up. I mean, and I think that's why he's getting sacked so much. If you've seen this man, he can't hold the ball that long, and your offensive line is breaking down. Why aren't you calling quick passes, RPOs, screens, stuff like that? And then you set up for the long ball. I just don't understand it. It seems like to me, every time we get the ball, as soon as we get the ball, we're getting sacked, because he wants to call a bomb down the field, knowing that our offensive line cannot block that long. I'm just calling it like it is. I don't like it.
As a defensive coordinator, I will come out in a cover 2 shell and run so much cover 1 with inside man coverage and forcing everything to the boundary, because at that point you've taken away what he loves to do the most. So what skill is he going to rely on when somebody does that to him?
No quarterback powers, no quarterback sweeps, no none of that. Yeah. I'm frustrated.
Real quick, Don Parker, $5. One reason you come to Bama is to beat Tennessee, not just try to win the game. They need motivation, then reflect on last year's anxiety game in quotation marks.
Whoo.
Big one.
Tyler, did you ever experience the anxiety coming out of the tunnel? Or did y'all cause anxiety? I got the answer to that. Y'all caused anxiety, especially guys like Jarrett Johnson. Woo!
Our
Kenny
defense
King.
wasn't good enough for us to cause anxiety. Our offense imposed its will, but the defense was lacking back then. So you know what I'm talking about.
Especially that middle linebacker.
When I'm a couple hundred miles away.
Hey, my all SEC plaque says differently.
Tyler, don't believe
you got
that.
you got that on Amazon.
No, that's a church league basketball plaque.
He got
that at Calvary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Several points made today.
All right, we got a question for you, Tyler, from Mike Coleman. What about a toss sweep?
People still run that play?
Y'all, the game has changed the way it looks, but the concepts are still the same. There ain't but so many places that you can attack. The way that you get there, how you dress it up, it changes. We still run stuff off sand. We run the zone stretch. It gives plenty of opportunities for cutting back or trying to get to the edge. All these things we're attacking, probing in the defense in different areas, as you should. It looks different than what it did in 1984. But there's several things. What I was going to say, there's just several things that y'all have commented. They're so true. And one of the biggest takeaways I've heard here was, how can you not get up for Tennessee and this, that, and the other? Where is the focus? But kind of step it back. Y'all keep talking about the standard. Well, the standard used to be a faceless opponent, and the standard is me outperforming what I did last week, or what I outperformed myself from. Am I improving? Am I getting better? I'm holding myself accountable to my standard. And I think that's what we keep hearing, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but it really hasn't come back to, no, I'm going to execute the way I'm being taught and what I'm supposed to do.
Well, it comes down to
care of itself when you do that.
Well, you're right. It comes down to holding each other accountable, because I had Kenny Smith in front of me, and Kenny would often do whatever the hell Kenny wanted to do.
I see so
on a regular basis, I had to hold Kenny accountable. Like, hey man, you're screwing this defense up because you're out of the gap you're supposed to be in, and you're creating gases for offenses. But eventually, he came on board, and it worked out for everyone. So yes, there has to be a level of accountability.
Marvin, do we need to get you in a 12-step program? Because you talk about that memory a lot. Is there like some unresolved anger there? Maybe some hurt? Talk to us, Marvin. My name is Marvin Constant.
Friends. No, Kenny's one of my best friends. But on the field, friendship went out the window. We were here to do a job. Like, listen, man, I don't care that we're close. If you're supposed to have your ass in the A gap, be in the A gap. You have no business in a wide nine talking about you seeing something. Do your job. Because if everybody does their job, you get a successful outcome. It's when you have one or two people deviating that you have flaws in your defense, and that's when you get gashed.
Gotcha.
I like what Tyler said. Just, hey, hold yourself accountable and get better week to week. All this, let's get up for this person. I want to see the old Bama again. I don't know if I ever see it, but I like that mindset. Tyler, you should come on more often after you become the offensive coordinator.
Yes, inside track.
Tyler does not want to work those hours, sir.
Pay raise.
Tyler, but would you work those hours though, Tyler?
I would for a year or two, couldn't I?
Yeah, he could suffer for 2 years and get that nice raise. Absolutely. Hey, real quick,
Now,
Jimmy Clay's got $10.
You won't get paid as much here. We get paid hot wings and Fanta.
I'll take it.
Not fancy. Dr. Thunder. Jimmy Clay sent us $10, and we got Michael Smith, DJ Smitty, $5. I noticed that Milroe turns his back to the left side. Knowing Proctor can't block, you would think he would keep that in mind. I don't understand. Well, as far as the offensive line goes, folks, if you didn't catch at the very beginning, unfortunately, Jaden Roberts, who was supposed to be our second guest tonight, was not able to make it. We talked just before the show Coach Saban has them on lockdown right now, and reason being it's Tennessee week, and he wants their focus on what the focus should be. We're going to reschedule for next week, so I do apologize. But what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the preview and predictions, where we go around the room and tell you guys what to expect and give our players of the game and all that good stuff. Before I do that, we're going to give a quick commercial.
Go home, go home, go hard, go hard, go home. Touchdown like
I like that. I like that.
Too bad the guy in there's washed up. No, anyway. No, Bo, man, we definitely remember that moment. And you had this special shirt just being released, this game of all games. Talk to us about the commercial, what you got going on, how the fans can get their hands on it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man, we'll be out on the court on October the 21st. And if you miss it on the court, you can also order it online at boscarborough.com. You know, it's a one-time sale deal. It's not going to be on that after Saturday. Just a one-time done deal. And, you know, it's also a raffle ticket. You get a pair of gloves and cleats as well.
Awesome. So everybody get down there.
Spray the inside of them cleats, what they smell like. My God.
I don't know. You must be smelling your cleat. That's why you think other people's cleats.
I had a new pair of shoes every week, sir.
I got shoes I don't.
No, you didn't, Marvin. I saw you out there with church shoes on one time.
It's because they used to steal, Steve.
Of course.
All right, it's time for the predictions. Let's go around the room. Let's get all your last thoughts, and we'll save Tyler for the very end. I don't know if he can give a prediction because he's going to be calling the game, but we'll get at least your final thoughts on what we need to be expecting. Stephen M. Smith, you start us out, then move to Bo, Steve, Marvin, and then Tyler will close it out.
Okay, so prediction for me, I don't think Tennessee has all of the offensive firepower that they had last season. It did lose Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt in the NFL draft. Joe Milton, extremely strong arm, but can at times be wildly inaccurate. I'm gonna go 31-14 Alabama here. 31-14. My offensive player of the game, I'm gonna say this because I think finally he becomes unleashed. I'm going to go Justice Haynes.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Justice Haynes. I think this is the game. In honor of Bo, because Bo broke out 2016 against Tennessee, I think the young man he's been mentoring, Justice Haynes, I think that mantle falls this week. I think we see more of Justice Haynes. I'm going to go Justice Haynes there. Defensively, I'm going to go Chris Braswell. CB been chirping. He should have had a touchdown against Texas A&M and got called back because of a penalty. But I think Chris Braswell waited his time. He was patient. It's not happening for him. I got Braswell defensive player of the game.
Awesome. Awesome. Bo, you're up next. Before you give your take, question for you from Brad Smith. If you order online, are the shirts still signed?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Better show up, Brad. But go ahead, Bo.
I'm gonna take Alabama 31-17, and the reason why I said it, I think that we will put together all four quarters and finish all four quarters this game. I really think that they are dialed in and focused, and I think that Coach Saban have, talked to them about eliminating the penalties, and I think we're gonna see less penalties this game, and I think that our defense is gonna be outstanding, and our offense is gonna unleash some explosive plays. At least have 4 explosive plays on the offensive side, and I'm gonna go with Justice Haynes if he get the playing time that he's supposed to get. That's a guy, man, very hard to bring down. Got good balance. Like I always been saying from the very beginning, he's a tough guy. Run through tackles. He find his way through holes, or he gonna make a hole if it's not there. I'm gonna go with him on defense. I'm gonna go with Caleb Downs. I just see he's just a guy that's break out every game. He's explosive. He just jump out on tape at you. If you just watching tape, he make himself noticeable. He's always in the right place at the right time, and he makes some good plays when he need to.
All right, I like that. Steve, keep it rolling.
I'm gonna go 28-7 Bama, and I'm going to go the what's the freshman's name on the left side of the line?
Proctor.
Caden Proctor.
Caden Proctor. He is going to grow up this game. Everybody's been on him. He's a kid, but I think that, he's going to get it. I think he's going to come in focused, and I think this is going to be his come out party. And I think he's going to do a wonderful job. On defense, my guy who's a whole lot better than Kool-Aid, I've been saying all year, is Terrion Arnold. He is going to be a Bama legend before it's all over with. Even Roman Harper said it. That guy is a dog. I love him. He's coachable. He plays hard. He's not a prima donna. He's out there tackling. He's not missing tackles, except when he got swatted away by the guy that was 300 pounds. I get that. But
that was not his fault, though.
Yeah, that wasn't. But I'm saying Terrion Arnold is me and Bo's guy. Is that right, Bo?
That's right.
All day.
That's right.
Because that's a complete corner.
Marvin Constant, you never wanted to hold back your thoughts. Go ahead, brother. What you got?
Here we
I'm
go.
Going 24-17. I feel like this is going to be a closer game than people give credit for. I think, with the deficiencies on our offensive line, I do expect 1 or 2 turnovers to put Tennessee in somewhat of decent field position. So our defense is going to have to play lights out because, again, the way our offensive line has been performing, who knows how the flow of that game is going to go on that side of the ball. So defense is going to have to show up. I expect defense to give up 10 points potentially with the 7 potentially coming off a turnover or just being in good field position based off that. Because, again, looking at the quality of Tennessee's front and how our offensive line has been performing, there is a chance for that to happen. And I see that happening because it's happened week in and week out. So I'm going 24-17. We're going to win a close one at home. But I don't think that this game is going to be a blowout by no means.
Okay. Well, Tyler, that leaves you.
Yeah.
Y'all,
if we can score 30 points from here on out, we won't get beat. I feel very good about that. I hope we can get to 30 points. My biggest concern. Y'all, Tennessee is a physical football team. It's completely different than what they've been the last couple of years. This is going to be a hard-hitting game. Hopefully, the defense will step up to the challenge because they want to make this a yuck it, muck it, run it between the tackles type of game. They're going to take some shots, but they're offensive efficient football. And hopefully we can hold up to that. Our defensive line has been playing outstanding the last couple of weeks. The players on this defense, there are Trez Marshall, Deontay Lawson, and Caleb Downs. He's a dog. He's the dog on the defense. It's Caleb Downs. So I expect him to have a game as he has the last several weeks. Your safety's coming up. He's the leading or second leading tackler on the field every single week. And hopefully we can get enough explosive plays, do enough offensively to get to that 24 to 30 points. We get to 30 points, we're going to win them all. We get to 24, we got a doggone good shot.
How many games did we go with 30 points last year that we lost?
That was a different team. That was a different
team.
That was a defensive. That was a different D coordinator.
Hold on, Steve. Tyler,
Don't get him in trouble. Don't get him in trouble.
Whose fault was that, Tyler?
Well, I mean, you lost 2 games. You lost to Tennessee, and you lost.
No. Whose fault was that last year?
Don't take the bait, Tyler.
Don't take the bait,
Don't
Tyler.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Go ahead and say it.
No, he's still on your Christmas card list.
Hold on, Tyler. So you don't think Terrion Arnold is a dog?
I think that Terrion Arnold continues to get better, and yeah, he's got a little bit of attitude. And he plays the right way, but Caleb Downs is the dude.
Okay. I like Caleb. I really do, but I think I don't know, man, because I'm just saying I've been hearing all this hype about Kool-Aid, but Terrion Arnold's been performing, man. He's been performing, bro. He's been
both those guys.
I just gotta say this, Tyler. How's Malachi Moore doing? How's he looking right now? I know he had that little injury against A&M, but how's he looking now?
In watching him in pregame warmups last week, and I don't know anything. He didn't play, but watching him warm-outs, he looked good, and it was surprising how well he was moving in warmups. So, look, this is the type of game that if you go, we'll give you something to make the hurt go away a little bit, but you got to go if you can do it.
No doubt. Biggest game for him for sure. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I pick Alabama 30, Tennessee 20 offensive player of the game, I'm going to give it to a running back. It's time for Justice Haynes to erupt. And then we just talked about him, Malachi Moore. He stepped on the national stage for the first time against Tennessee when he started things out. I think he closed out his career at Bama, showing out again against Tennessee. All right, before we let you go, Tyler, I know you got to get to your night. If you would, share with us your favorite memory playing quarterback at Alabama.
Ooh, playing at Alabama. Yeah, quite honestly, now it's the fact that I got to play against Tom Brady. But back then, nobody knew who Tom Brady was or cared, and so that wasn't a big deal back then. But this game, my senior year, after a 7-year drought of having seniors come through our program, never having an opportunity to beat Tennessee, we go to Knoxville. That was the most fun locker room I've ever been in.
And how much more gratifying knowing that you beat Philip Fulmer was it?
You beat Phil. You took him out.
Man, absolutely. Well, Tyler, we greatly appreciate you being on with us, man. It's been a long time coming, and we definitely got to do this again, brother. If you would, before you head out, tell folks how they can find you other than on Saturdays. Are you still on social media, or do you kind of lay low?
You know as well as I do, I ain't technologically advanced enough to do social media. I do have a webpage, though. It's TylerWattsInsurance.com. That's what I So reach out to me, TylerWattsInsurance.com.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, brother. Have a great night. Roll Tide. We'll see you Saturday.
I really enjoyed y'all. Y'all have a great show, and I appreciate y'all letting me be on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Honor.
All
right.
See you, buddy. All right, folks. It's time for us to go around the room. Pop what we got. As always, we'll start with Marvin Constant. Then we'll go to Steve Brown, then Bo, then Stephen M. Smith, and then we'll head on out. Marvin, what you got? Tell us about 40 Plus Strong.
You want to find me on Instagram? Constant45. It's real simple. Again, my book, Physical and Mental Fitness at 40 Plus, it's a great resource for anyone in their late 30s, 40s, or 50s who are looking to get in shape and, get that back in their life. 3 different 6-week workout programs, one for beginners, one for intermediate, and one for people who've been doing it for a while, maybe looking for a different challenge. The book is designed so you can write it in and track your progress along the way. And again, you want the guns of steel, baby? These 44-year-old hammers looking good, baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great resource if you're looking for one. Best $15 you ever spend on Amazon. Physical and Mental Fitness at 40 Plus. The link is on my Instagram.
No doubt. Steve, you care to follow that? What you got coming up? You've got a show this Saturday.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, I'm trying not to throw up. I'm sick of Marvin. All right. All right, so Jacksonville, Florida. I will be there this Saturday, wearing my Bo Scarborough t-shirt. I want you to know that. Yeah. So I'll be at the Ritz Theater. You can follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, Comic Steve Brown, or you can go to my fan page, Comedian Steve Brown. There it is.
Sweet. Bo, you got a lot going on. Again, remind the fans what you got going on Saturday.
Saturday I'll be on the quad with my shirts, with the hand shirts, autographed. It's only 135, it's limited. Shop on my website, boscarborough.com. Hoodies, leggings for the girl, high rise, low rise, t-shirts, sweats. That's about it. Just
Steve Brown, I want to know, do you sell men's thongs?
No. This not that type of
Steve
type.
Say he want the hand on the back of his thong.
This ain't that type of sidebar.
Steve said he want to feel your hand on his sack.
Hey, hold up. Hey, Bo, didn't Marvin buy some low-rise leggings from you?
Steve want to feel your hand on his sack, Bo.
Hey, Justin, get us out of here. These guys don't get us fined. Get us out of here.
Yes, Marvin, not everybody has a live stream from their OnlyFans like you. So.
Yeah, no.
The latest film in that series is Getting It in Ghana. So.
What in the world?
Promo code baby oil spill.
Monkey grease.
Are y'all done?
Hey, hashtag banana in the tailpipe.
I'm done with you guys.
Stephen and Smith, go ahead, pop what you got after you catch your breath, and then we'll get out of here.
Look, man, I had to take 5 things the inhaler just did. God dog, man. All right, I'm good. I'm cool. But tomorrow we got the show. We got the show tomorrow. We got Saban's press conference tomorrow. Hopefully, we hear some good stuff from Saban about these guys being locked in and focused. Because as Marvin mentioned, there are games you got to be up for, and this is one of them. This is a big rival. So if playing Tennessee don't fire you up, I don't know what will. So hopefully we get some good stuff there from Coach Saban. We got the show tomorrow, talking Bama, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me.
It will for sure.
Can you ask Coach Saban a question for me while you're at this press conference?
Okay. What will you have me to ask if I not get chewed out?
Ask him, is his lake house on Airbnb, and if so, what's the link for the listing?
Man, shut up.
You know what? I'll get that to Miss Terry. She'll be in there.
Nice.
Hey, banana in the tailpipe. Okay, go
Not
ahead.
in the tailpipe at all. But folks, we thank you for showing up and showing out as you all do. Stay tuned to this channel. We have a lot of great content coming your way tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, the final whistle. That's with Matt Cadell, Dan James, Chris James, Ty Hayes, and Coach Smook. And then tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Crimson Dynasty with C. Payne. Hey, I need everybody who was wild in the chat tonight to show up tomorrow night, support her. And then, as always, on Saturday, right after the game, the Bama Standard post-game show. And, hey, we got a brand new website, thebamastandard.com. Check all this stuff out. Before we say goodbye, Steve, you had something?
Yeah, make sure you watch all of those shows that Justin named, but just know they're not better than us. That's all.
Also, the new and improved limited edition Steve Brown bobbleheads, the greatest. They are coming out. We are rolling the greatest bobbleheads.
Thank you.
That'll do it for us. Roll Tide.
Banana in the tailpipe.
Stop.